I'm in Berkshire, on a trip around Great Britain, hunting out traditional foods and time-honoured customs.
So you're small fish, but don't panic.
I've caught a fish! So far, I've tickled a trout. See, my wife's always sort of suggested we try fishing. I think we might have a go at it. You're on. I puckered up at an ancient festival. And now I'm about to don my apron to cook up a treat from the back of my caravan for a brass band. I like all sorts of music, but there's one sort that's guaranteed to make the hair stand up on the back of my neck, and that's a good brass band. It's partly memories of hearing them when I was a kid, partly the sense of community they embody, but mostly it's just the music. Listen, the Sandhurst Silver Band. Now, in case you're confused, there's no real difference between a silver and a brass band. The silver instruments are just brass that's been silver-plated, which many believed gave the instrument a better tone. That is just a staggering noise you're getting out of that instrument. What is that instrument? Well, all noise is musical, I think.
It's a post horn.
It's a post horn?
Yeah, originally used to signal the arrival of the post.
Yeah, and that is the post horn gallop, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's a crazy bit of music, isn't it?
It is, yes. Very fast and furious.
Yeah. All pouchy, I thought it was fantastic. When did this band originate? When did it start?
Well, this particular group started probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
No, I mean the Sandhurst Silver Band as a whole thing.
Oh, you better ask him that.
Yeah? When did the Sandhurst Silver Band start?
So the band started just over 100 years ago in 1908.
Yeah. And is it connected to the Sandhurst Military College?
It isn't particularly connected now, but when it first started, there were resident musicians at the Military Academy in Sandhurst, so
Yeah.
the band actually was started with members from the academy and from local members of the public.
You think of kind of brass bands as mostly kind of northern. Is there a tradition? Is there a lot of bands in the south? Do you have competitions like they do in the north?
Yep, we're very competition orientated. In fact, now we've been competing as a band since the 1920s.
Well, we're competing with aeroplanes now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Windsor for you.
So I'm gonna cook you up some nice food called the Poor Knights of Windsor.
Well,
You heard of the Poor Knights of Windsor?
No, I've never heard of it.
It's kind of posh eggy
I look
bread.
forward to that.
Well, here we are on the flight path that runs over Windsor Castle. Why did the Queen build a castle here? Anyway, I'm going to make you a dish called the Poor Knights of Windsor, which is essentially a kind of posh egg bread. So to do that, I'm going to just separate these eggs. It's called the Poor Knights of Windsor because it's a kind of poor dessert, really. And the Poor Knights of Windsor were an ancient order of knights who they'd fought at the Battle of Crécy under Richard III, which we won, by the way. We beat the French quite comprehensively with our great new longbow invention. And a few of our knights were kind of captured, and they had to pay for their own ransom in those days, which kind of made them rather destitute. And Richard III took pity on them and let them live in kind of almshouses within Windsor Castle. So I think this dish is kind of named after them in sort of honour of how poor they were. The order itself has kind of changed now, and they're now called the Military Knights of Windsor. Right, so I've got my eggs done. In here, I'm going to put a little bit of milk, not too much, and a little bit of sherry. Quite a lot. Because that's what makes it rather interesting. Traditionally, Puddings made out of bread were a way of turning old loaves into appetising desserts, and most families have their own recipe that's been passed down the generations. Stale bread is best for this kind of dessert because it soaks up the egg mixture without falling to pieces. Gonna dip it in the milk and that, then in the egg, get it nice and covered, and the ends straight in the pan. Same with this one. Bit of a dip, bit of a swim in the sherry. Cover it with egg, get the ends done, and in she goes. Fry in some butter for about 5 minutes, or until they're nice and golden. Here we go, there's a couple of them ready. Just bring these two out. Now, just to give them an extra zhuzh, you just sprinkle them with a bit of sugar, or a lot of sugar, pinch of cinnamon, and then the pièce de résistance, a bit of jam. That is a pretty rich kind of eggy bread in anyone's book. Chris and Marcus.
Yes.
Come over here, young sires. Please enter the kitchen. Try that. Get your gums around that and see what you think. You should get a little hint of sherry in there somewhere, or a strong hint of sherry.
That's tea for me.
Is it tea? Yeah.
That's your tea. My tea, my dinner. Yeah. Supper.
Your tea and your breakfast.
That's really nice, actually.
It's good. Oh, I'm going to do one myself. Oh, they're burning. Hang on. If you want to try this simple pudding at home, here's how.
You want some?
First, beat some egg yolks. I'm using free range. Put the milk and a generous splash of sherry into a dish and mix it all together. Cut the crusts off your bread. Then heat some butter in a frying pan. Dip each slice into the milk mixture, followed by the egg, and then fry on both sides until it's nice and golden. Serve with a sprinkle of sugar and cinnamon and a big dollop of jam. It's great as a dessert or as a naughty snack at any time of day. You can find details of what you've seen in today's show by going to itv.com/food. And that's it, a traditional Poor Knights of Windsor. There's a bit of sugar. What got you into this band? How did you sort of find out about it?
There's lots of advertising. People know if you're in one band, you get to know all the different bands in the area because we compete against each other.
I mean, you seem to have all ages. Well, you're quite young, actually, compared to a lot of northern bands I've seen. I mean, are you sort of having no problem getting new people in at the bottom end?
It is quite a struggle sometimes. I mean, there's probably more bands than there are players, so...
We're always looking for new players to join the band.
Yeah.
Come along and have a blow with us, see if they like to play with us, and we'll take it from there.
I mean, do you have a kind of nursery school band?
We do, actually, yes.
We have a community band, which doesn't contest, it just does events in around the local community in Sandhurst.
Yeah.
And that has players from about 10 years old upwards to actually the oldest member of our organisation, who's about 78, so...
Right. Well, I love the piece you played at the beginning, Postal on Gallop. That's delightfully eccentric and English, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
what are you going to
fantastic.
play to take us out?
We're going to play next the Earl of Oxford March, and it's very Tudor in style, which goes very well with the castle march.
The castle?
Yeah.
And Madge doesn't seem to be in, does she?
Not today.
You know how you can tell, don't you?
Ensign.
No, because she's not waving at the window. Well, play on.
Thank you very much. OK, guys, we're on.
Well, that's it from Berkshire. It's a county full of mad eccentrics, members of the royal family, and quite a lot of pigs. Don't get them mixed up, or it's off with your head. See you next time.